Hello, this is Tuolumne McCutcheon, and I am doing a presentation for the class Community and Public Health. My presentation is on Obamacare, its legislative, and its policies. Obamacare. There is a new meaning to healthcare. The Obamacare reform has been established to give a solution to our healthcare system. We are addressing this issue because many of Americans are without insurance as we speak. The United States health system cost is increasingly growing every year. There is a growing number of Americans that are uninsured and needing immediate medical attention. The Affordable Care Act is giving Americans the necessary enforcement of addressing these concerns. Although billions and billions of dollars are spent each year to ensure that every American has insurance, the leading causes of death in this country and poverty level is steadily increasing. We feel that this solution will temporarily have a huge impact on the population of the American country. The people most affected by this new policy are the ones that are not taken into account, like the poor. Placing emphasis on the population to which it does benefit are anyone without health coverage. The parents of college-age children who are able to stay on the same insurance premiums as their parents until the age 26 are benefited from this, and especially if they were ill before the parents could afford to take care of them. If you were to focus primarily on the elderly people of a community, it would benefit them because it provides reasonable rates at a lower monthly cost to them. The different changes in Obamacare would bring forth a tax credit for middle-class families and cut the federal deficit within a decade. One concern that frightens people was not being able to understand the significance of the new reform policy. Some people were even angered of the thought that we were being forced to sign up and felt that it was just an act to save the presidency. However, whether it was at a lower cost to people, it exceeded our expectations as an American citizen and was relatively a big factor in signing up people. In retrospect to the cost of this new reform and how it benefits the middle class was really worth its weight in gold. This is because Obamacare had a cheaper deductible than most insurance companies could afford. Although many have feared it would set the country back another $1 billion in debt, it has made a phenomenal impression. Over 8 million people signed up before the deadline in 2012. Accreditation for making it possible for more Americans to work was a big job for the president in creating jobs, especially in a time when the economy was doing so poor. It has been a political strategy for President Obama. The cost of the new reformed policy is expensive to the country's budget, more so to smaller businesses and the rising cost of reimbursing its employees. The legislators' position on Obamacare at first was a misconception of the type of tactics it was to modulate onto the economy. It struck the nation as a pawn to make people purchase a reserve type of insurance. Given only 6 months after it was passed into a reform, insurance companies had to register their companies under the new venture bill. In most cases, it benefited the small companies by giving them a very nice tax bracket for their troubles. Some of the important pieces of information that legislators needed to hear about before passing judgment was the amount of uninsured people there was in this country. Americans living without health care in this country has been very devastating. Americans benefited from the gap coverage that they were left to pay out of pocket. Stakeholders were more fearful of the insurance fraud scams more than anything. These scams were costing them billions of dollars each year. Their concerns about any policy is how well the public would adapt to it. It is essential, that the policies protect the population of mankind. Just 2 years after Obamacare was introduced as a reform, it made a staggering $3.0 billion deficit in the economy. Since then, the smaller businesses are even more stressed of how they're